Hello and welcome to Bible Bites Daily. Today we have reached Deuteronomy chapter 29. This chapter calls us to the profound concept of covenant renewal. As we explore the timeless lessons within, let us discover how this ancient truth resonates in our lives today. From verses 1 to 9, the chapter talks about remembering God's past faithfulness. This means we at a situation where we want to remember what God has done to us in the past. The chapter begins by recounting the Israelites' journey and God's faithfulness. Here, the covenant renewal starts with remembering God's past faithfulness. It's about acknowledging the journey, recognizing the hand of God in our lives, and remembering the countless ways He has been faithful. Why He has been faithful to us. We were asking Him to do something. Whenever we want something, we went to Him, we asked Him, we prayed to Him. And then He was being faithful. He showed us the way every single time. Considering creating a faithfulness journey, where you document moments when God has been faithful in your life. So, when we have received His faithfulness, when we have received His wonders, we'll be happy, we thank God, and we move on to the next phase of our life. And whenever, after 2 months, after 3 months, after a year, after 10 years, when we get into a new problem, then again we suffer. And again we think that whether God will help us or not. So, in order to avoid all this confusion, what is this chapter telling us is to maintain a faithfulness journal. Keep a journal, keep a book. Write in the book whenever God has helped you. So whenever you are in need, go back to that book and see how God has helped you out of your trouble in the past. Regularly reflecting on these entries becomes a powerful tool for covenant renewal. From verses 10 to 15, the chapter talks about commitment to God's covenant. So once we understood and once we know that God is there for us and He will be faithful to us, now we have to give a commitment to His covenant. The heart of the chapter emphasizes the commitment required for covenant renewal. It underscores the importance of turning away from idolatry and wholeheartedly embracing God's covenant. What is idolatry? Worshipping other idols is called idolatry. When we are showing our faith in God, when we are depending on our Lord, it's time to leave all the other idolatry. It's time to leave all the other idols. So, idols here doesn't only mean other gods, doesn't only mean other deities. Okay, idolatry here means anything that you worship. Some people may worship money, some people may worship power, something like that. So even that is anything that you are feeling above God is idol to you. So you have to turn away from idolatry and wholeheartedly embrace God's covenant. The lesson deepens here. Covenant renewal demands our wholehearted commitment. With complete surrender, we have to commit to the God. It's not a half-hearted endeavor, but a radical turning towards God. Evaluate areas in your life where idols may have subtly crept in. Anything that competes for your allegiance with God. Covenant renewal involves a conscious decision to turn away from these distractions and recommit to wholeheartedly our Lord. From verses 16 to 28, the chapter talks about the consequences of unfaithfulness. What happens if you are not faithful to the Lord? The chapter also outlines the consequences of unfaithfulness to the covenant. Once you have agreed upon, once you have given your commitment, then what are the consequences if you move out from your path? It's a stark reminder that our choices have consequences. You do good, good comes to you. You do bad, bad comes to you. The lesson is clear. Covenant renewal requires an awareness of the cost of unfaithfulness. It's a call to make choices that align with God's covenant, understanding the gravity of turning away from Him. So, in any case, we are not allowed to turn away from Him. We are not allowed to be unfaithful. Reflect on the consequences of unfaithfulness in your life. Are there areas where compromises have led to negative consequences? Use this reflection as a motivation for genuine covenant renewal. What do we conclude from this chapter? This chapter beckons us to the sacred practice of covenant renewal, a commitment to remember God's faithfulness, wholeheartedly embrace His covenant, and be aware of the consequences of unfaithfulness. As we navigate our modern lives, let us heed this timeless call to renew our commitment with God. May our commitment be unwavering, our hearts be whole, and our journey one marked by the blessings of renewed commitment. So, what do we have to do? We have to remember what God has done to us in the past, how He has helped us from our problems. We make a note of it, or we keep a record of what all He has done. And time and again, we have to go through these pages to understand and to renew our faith in Jesus Christ. And the last thing that we need to remember is that our unfaithfulness will have consequences. So we have to be sure that we are wholeheartedly committed to the Lord. Thank you for joining us today.